Welcome to Vintage Gaming Memories. Shall we play a game?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I think it's about time for us to check out this eBay purchase that I made from April 8th with the postmark date of April 9th. So that's about 2.5 months ago. I think it's well past due for me to open it up and see what's in here. And if you might have watched my other videos, you probably saw that pile that I had behind me in my workshop area. Well, that pile has gotten a little bit smaller, but not quite. Smaller as far as a number of packages, but some that have come in since then are quite large, so I can't wait to show you what I have. But until then, let's open this one up and see what's inside. Well, here it is. This is a 1980 Bandai Electronics Missile Invader handheld game. And as you can see, I have the box, and it should be a complete item inside as well. The seller was also the original owner, so that's another cool thing to note. And let's examine at least the box itself before we get inside. I mean, I'm not a big collector of boxes, and I mentioned that in my other videos, but it's always nice to have a box if it's available. You can see the presentation that was on this box when it was first put out there. This is the back side, and this is the front. And I always like these fronts where they have this opening up flap, like a door flap in front. Kind of gives you the perspective and impression that there's a lot to talk about in this game, and they just couldn't put it all on the inside. You have to show it on the outside. And they need the extra real estate to give you a full view of everything. But, you know, hey, it's kind of cool. Always got me intrigued. I always thought the game or whatever it was I was buying was probably better than it really was, just because of this little extra marketing that they put into the box packaging. Well, let's check this out. Here is the Missile Invader game. And the back side gives you some instructions, and it's pretty clear and detailed, and it's pretty easy. Actually, it really does sum it up if I'm just looking at it here quickly. So you're in charge of a missile station in which you need to shoot down the invader and UFOs before they get you. You're limited to 50 missiles in your arsenal, and destroying an invader is worth 1 point, whereas a UFO is worth 5 points. Seems like the maximum possible score is 245. And that's what it says right there. It's pretty basic controls from what I can tell also. You have a left and right button here. You have a fire button on the side. You have your power on and off switch. And that's it. Really simple. Takes one 9-volt battery. I don't know. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Again, a lot of these games back in the early 80s were always a lot of the space-themed ones, and you saving Earth or whatever planet you're on as you fight against these invaders or UFOs. And, well, no shock to me that this is another one of those. Let's see what's inside, and hopefully everything is intact. Okay, you have the styrofoam that's on the bottom there to hold it in place, which is great. The top one is missing, which is quite alright. We have the game itself. We'll look closely at that in a second. But we have some instructions here. And remember, this is from the original owner, so it's kind of nice. It's not been handed down by a lot of people, so it's pretty well kept. And we have some advertisement or marketing here that they normally would put in these games for you to get enticed to buy some more of their products. And Bandai's no different. Here's Bandai Electronics Arcade. I actually have this one that just came in not too long ago. I'll do a video on this one for you. But I've done Gunfighter, Galaxian, some racing games here, Race Time. And in the back side, there is Missile Invader. Pretty cool games they had in their lineup. Alright, let's check out the game now. It's in really good condition, just like the listing stated. However, seller noted some areas of wear and tear or just kind of general use, which was fine with me. I mean, the labeling's still intact, and it's kind of discolored a little bit, but hey, I'm not complaining. It's got a battery cover. It's still there, which is nice. This little foam was kind of noted as well. Not a big deal. I can clean that up and put another foam piece in there to keep the battery snug. I think there was something else. I remember seeing the sides or something. A little bit discolored. I don't know. But really, it looks pretty good. The screen or display area, the plastic, it's not bad. I don't see much. I can definitely do some novice cleaning on it. Probably my clean, shine, and protect. We'll see how that turns out. We'll do the whole thing actually with that. And then we'll just put a 9-volt in and we'll see how this game plays and how easy it is. So give me 1 second as I clean this up, polish it, and then come back with some game time play for you to look at. Alright, it is all cleaned up and polished. And to be honest, it was a really well kept game from the original owner, so this was a pretty quick and easy job to do this. And let's just take a quick look to see the job that was done. You can see the shine coming off the plastic, off the display as well. It looks really good. So, like I said, pretty simple to do this, and I like that. After I did all that, I went ahead and fully read the instructions, and even though it was pretty much summed up on the outer box, I'm just going to add a few more details to what I said earlier about the gameplay. So to recap, you have 50 missiles to launch at the UFO and Invader, and if you hit an Invader, you get 1 point, whereas if you hit a UFO, you get 5 points. So if you do the math, and let's just say that every shot was just perfectly timed to hit 50 UFOs, 50 missiles, 50 UFOs, well, 50 times 5 is 250 points. But it did say that in the instructions, the max score is 245, and I'll get to that a little bit later as to why it's not really 250. On the topic of the score itself, that is really what the challenge is in this game. It's to get the highest score from your 50 shots. Now, if you get hit, you will lose 5 of your missiles. So if you get hit 2 times, that's 10 missiles off the 50 you have or whatever remains. And the game ends when all your missiles are depleted. Now, getting back to that 250 point number, that score, because of this display area for the score, there's only 2 positions to actually display a score. So they had to get creative for scores of 100 points or more. I have a few games just like this one where they actually use the creativity of alpha characters to get 100 plus points. So for example, what you will see is an A in that first position, or a B, or a C, or a D. Now, A would mean 10, B would be 11, C is 12, D is 13. So if you saw an A5, A would be 10 and the 5, so that's 105. If it was C5 or C8, C would be 12, so it would be 1, 2, and then 8 and 128. Also in the instructions, they do outline a little bit of how that scoring is done. And you can see there exactly what I just mentioned with the letters A through E, representing A is like 10, and then the number after that represents the third position. Now, getting back to that 245 best score, so when you get to 150, you don't see an F like you would think. It continues on with the alphanumeric characters. It doesn't. It stops at E, but when you get to 150, it says it goes back to 0. So 150 is really 0, even though you're playing it still. And then anything after that, it goes up to 95. So 95 plus 150 gets you the 245 score. So that's how that works. It's kind of weird, but it does make sense if you kind of look at the logic behind it. I'll be happy if I even get to 100. There's also another cool indicator with that scoring display. At a point where it starts to flash, that would mean that you are down to your last 10 missiles. So it's a nice little warning indicator that, hey, make these count. Because there's no other indicator on the display area that tells you how many missiles you have remaining. Also, when you turn this on, the game will start immediately. And once the game is over, to reset it, you have to turn it off and then back on again. What else am I missing to tell you? Oh, positions. You can kind of see it probably if I get this close up. Maybe not. But your actual missile base can move left and right 4 positions. And then as far as the Invader, when it shows up on top, they have 3 open positions before their missile hits your missile base. So it's kind of pretty quick from what it looks like. As far as the action goes, that is. I think you can see it here. Yeah, you can see it here. Here's the 4 positions for your missile base. And then here is the Invader level. They don't move up and down. They just go left and right, just like you would. But you can see there's 1, 2, 3 open positions before it hits the base. And then the UFO will reside above the Invader. So it makes it even more of a harder target to get, which is why it's worth 5 points. Now that should be pretty much everything that I could have found out from reading the instructions, as well as reading the back of this game and the box itself. So I think I'm pretty well prepared to at least try this out and see how I do. So before I go ahead and do anything else, just like I do with other games that I make videos on, I will readjust this camera, dim the lights, and then we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. I have the battery inserted, I have the camera adjusted, and the lighting dimmed down a bit. I think all that's left to do is to power this on and get ready for some action. Speaking of action, I will have to be prepared to start right away because it just begins the game, and I'm not sure how aggressive this game is. So let's just get ready. You know, it's kind of weird, I have to say. It's usually a palm in my hand kind of feel of a game. As I was cleaning this up, I was holding it in my palm, and it felt like, you know, it was more natural to be in your hand. But this is going to be flat on the table, so that's going to be a unique way to play it. And, yep, I'm making excuses already. Okay, powering it on. I got hit already. You believe that? All right. My fire button works. I don't want to waste all my missiles, but it's moving left and right, and I got points. 5 points there. That was good. I hit a UFO. All right. I hit an Invader. Now, I've noticed already that if I hit a missile from the Invader, it just cancels out. But obviously, you don't want to waste your missiles on canceling out missiles coming at you. You need to be very careful how you pick and choose your shots. I'm going for the big points for the UFO. Oh, it's flashing. That means I have less than 10. 10 missiles, that is. Less than 10 missiles. Gotta be good at my shots. Oh. That is it. Game over. 15 points. Not good at all. But at least I get the hang of it. It's pretty aggressive, as you can tell. I turned it on and right away I got shot. You have to time your movement because that Invader is really blocking you from getting the big points, which is the UFO above it. Canceling out those missiles really wastes missiles and gets you a chance of getting hit. So it's kind of a maneuver around that Invader to get a clean shot at that UFO is really the objective, or the skill that you have to find. I think that's about all that I've learned on that first round. Let's try this one more time. Can't restart it just by pushing buttons. You have to turn it off and power cycle it. And we'll get going. I'm going to move right away because I don't trust that Invader guy. Yep. Oh. Okay, got the UFO. Another hit. Less than 10. All right, game over. 25. It's a very challenging game. You do have to do some timing as far as getting that UFO in the right position before you push the fire button for your missile. I can see this being pretty cool and fun with another friend to play to see who gets the best score. As you can tell, the game goes pretty quick, especially if you're aggressive with your firing of your missiles and you go through them pretty fast. The game will be over very fast. You know, it's not a bad game. It's very easy to transport, small, compact. I like that about these handheld games back in the day. It's simple to use. You don't really have to figure out too much, and it's challenging. So this is the 1980 Bandai Electronics Missile Invader. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you own one? Have you owned one? Or would you ever buy one of these today? I want to thank you again for watching. I do appreciate it. And remember, keep that gaming passion from the past alive by living it today. Take care, everyone.